that time of the year where they're starting to pick all those nice, sweet, fresh sauerkraut cabbages south of us. They grow just tons of it down here. So we took a ride down and grabbed a couple cabbages, and I'm going to start a couple of half-gallon jars of them fermenting now. So first thing to do is to clean everything up good to get started. Make sure you wash it all up and get everything rinsed off good, no soap on it or anything, and you're all ready to go then. Now we picked up 3 of these cabbages for $5. They were between like about 12 and 14 pounds, and they're just beautiful. They were just fresh picked, so they're really nice and crispy and everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is just save a couple of the outer leaves. We love the stuffed cabbage rolls I made that video about back a ways, and these are the best leaves for them. They're really super sweet and tasty. They're not bitter or anything like that. So I struggle to get a couple of the outside ones off each cabbage without damaging them. So we can do a batch of cabbage rolls up. And then it's time to cut the beast in half, and I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's just so crispy and crunchy. It's really amazing how crunchy it is. Basically, it's such a sweet cabbage too. So it is a little bit of a struggle getting it cut in half with the knife that I chose, but eventually I do get it cut, and I did give it a good rinse off before this point, so everything's all ready to go, and I'm just basically going to start just chunking pieces off of it there, kind of like a coarse chop off of it, and just try to rotate it around and stuff to keep the pieces from getting too extremely large on it as you go. So I'm just doing this a little bit at a time here. It does take a little bit of time, but I'm going to start by taking that clean half-gallon mason jar, and I'm going to put in some of the first cabbage that I cut there. And now that AIEVE kit actually comes with this really nice tool for packing it down, so I'm going to use that. At the same time, I'm going to sprinkle some salt on each layer. Try to get about a tablespoonful of salt in the jar when you're done, and I spread it among the layers. It helps to apparently it helps with the fermenting, and it also helps to pull the moisture out of the cabbage. So this takes a while, and I'm just I'm doing it slowly but surely here, trying not to make too much of a mess. So it's a matter of just slice some, put some in there, and really try to pack it down the best you can, and basically don't hit the side of the jar with the that pusher there, because you could probably damage it. And continue on until the jar is finally filled, basically maybe about 2 inches from the top or so. You really need room for the glass weight to go on top of it. There you can see I'm just going a little bit of salt and a little bit of cabbage here, and such a great tasting cabbage. I couldn't believe how sweet and crunchy it is. Seems to be extremely dry, not a lot of moisture in it, so I did have to add some water in the end to get it going. So as it gets near the top, I'm just putting a little more pressure on it, trying to get it pushed down there, and you can see this is the first half of the cabbage. I'm starting to get down near the center of it. So if you do start with a good sized cabbage, you will actually get 2 half-gallon jars out of it, which seems to be the perfect size batches to start. I'm used to doing it in the big crocks and canning it, so this is a whole new experience for me. So finally I get to the point where everything's in there, and a little bit more salt on top. Then I'm just going to drop one of those little glass weights in there, push that down a little bit, make sure it's all crunched. And as I said, there wasn't really much moisture in this cabbage, and I didn't really want to wait a long time to see if it does pull out eventually, so I decided to just top this off with some of our fresh well water here, which has worked good in all my ferments so far. So I'm just going to top that off up to the bottom of the stone there just about. And then these AIEVE lids have been great. They just screw on there and they actually seal good. And then I take that little vacuum pump, and this one was a little close to the top, and I did wind up pulling some liquid out, so you do have to be a little bit careful, but as long as I wash it out when I'm done, it's fine. So first jar is full, and time to put the rest of what was left from that first half of the cabbage. Start the next jar. Same thing, just take your time cutting it up and just pounding it in, trying to get as much in that jar as you can. And you can see how nice those cabbages look. And I think a lot of these cabbages are actually, they're grown for winter storage, and they're also grown for sauerkraut. There's a big Olivier sauerkraut plant south of us, so a lot of them will wind up in sauerkraut in the end, and they just I don't know, something about them. We always get them down there, and they just have no bitterness, and they're extremely sweet when fresh picked, and super crispy, and just a great cabbage to make kraut with. So I did the same thing with this jar. I just kind of trimmed it a little bit at a time, and a little bit of cabbage in there, a little bit of packet, and then just sprinkle a little bit of salt and help get the fermenting going. And I think there are other items that you can use besides salt if you're on a salt restricted diet, so you may want to look into that. There are some other spices, I think, and ways that may help you get started. So same thing, I thought I could get the whole cabbage in the 2 jars, but it just wouldn't fit in the end. I tried packing as much as I could and putting as much force down on it. There you see. And I got close, but I didn't quite get it all in there. So there it is now, all filled to the top. Same thing, there goes a glass weight on it. And then I'm just going to add some water to fill it up to the bottom of the weight, so everything there is submerged to get going. And then these will just go over in a spot where the sun doesn't hit them, and they'll sit for a couple weeks till they should be sauerkraut and ready to go. And just put another lid on there. These lids really do work great. I've had a lot of fun with the kit since I got it. And then the same thing, and I did have water in that one too, so now I gotta wash everything out good. And it's nice that they've got the date that you can set on them too. There, you slide those little rings around. So there's the 2 jars of kraut ready to ferment. I did have enough left for a really beautiful little bowl of coleslaw that is just so sweet and crunchy. Really a great coleslaw it makes. So I really have been enjoying this AIEVE fermenting kit. I've gotten a lot of use out of it, and here you can see right now I've got those 2 jars started, and there's a jar of natapinos that's just about ready. A couple more jars of pickles I'm making that are getting close to ready, and there's some of the habanadas that should be ready pretty soon to eat. So I've really been enjoying the flavor of these lacto fermented type vegetables. Also got some more of those peppers dehydrated that I had picked last week, and I've been loving these zucchini snacks that I made a while back ago. They are really a great snack to enjoy, and I just thought I'd post this video and hopefully give somebody an idea to just try a batch of sauerkraut and just see how it comes out if they've never made it before. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.